Yeah, hello guys. In this video, we are going to create the mappings between the two tables, student and address. Okay. Still, now we are going to continue the our series. So till now we created the REST API around 5 to 8 REST API we already created. And in last video we create the DTO class and REST API for the DTO class. But in this video we are going to map the two tables. Okay. How we are going to do this? See, we have worked till now for the student in student project. So in this video we will create the address. Okay, address new table. So one student may have many address, and many address have one student. Okay, so like that we are going to create. Okay, I think did you understood? One student can have many address, that means one to many, and one many address can have one student. Suppose I am a student, I have an address in Delhi also, Mumbai also. So two address has belong to uh, one student, me. So that means many to one. So how we will do this? Let's start, don't waste the time. Okay, so for that firstly we have to create the one entity class which name is address. So I mean model class we are going to create. This is the model class. Where is the model class? Okay, this one. Yeah, here is student. Now we are going to another entity class. Inside the model package we will create the address entity. Okay, now let's create. We are going to give the address. Okay, address, finish. After creating this we will create API also. Okay, click on address. Yeah, fine. Okay. For that what we want, it address ID, private int address. Still I'm taking the each and everything simple as much as possible. Here I'm not taking auto generated ID and those things, because still we are creating the small project. Step by step we will learn lot of all things. Firstly we will solve the small things, and how and so it will be more helpful, and so you can easily understand the Spring Boot project. Okay, now what I want, address ID, I want address ID. Okay, and I want private string city name, and I want private string state name. Okay, done. Now this is the address ID should be the primary key. So @ID, yeah, this one. And here I have to enter @entity. It will create the table. And what I want data. Data is used to for the getter setter. Okay, and all args, it is used for the constructor. And no args, it is used for the default constructor. Okay, now save it. And we have now two class, one student, which one we already created in and in this video we will create the we create the address. Okay, here we create the student. Now how we are going to map, that means one student may have many address. Okay, one student may have many address. So that means list of address, private list of address. Okay, address list, I want address list new array list. Okay, so this is new array list done. Okay, and now I have to mapping. I have to do mapping is will be one to many. Control space you can click, so you can see control one to many mapping did. Okay, then I have to go in address, and I have to many address can have one student. So for that, what I have to do? For that, I have to create a private student, that class name of a student and object of that student. Okay, and it will be many to one. Okay, many to one, this one. Okay, so I want to create the, see how it will map in between both the table, student and address. So it will be connected through the primary key, and primary key will be the foreign key. Okay, so what we are going to do, we will store this roll number inside uh, this student. Okay, so how we are going to do? So we will create one more column, so it will store the foreign key of student. Okay, that roll number will be a primary key in a student table, but it will be the foreign key inside the address table. Okay, so how we are going to do? So we will create one join column, join column. Okay, join column, and this column name will be student id. Okay, we will give as a student id, student id. Okay, it will be student id. Fine, and everything is done. Okay, do the json ignore. Why I did json ignore, I will show you in last. Json ignore. Okay, and now save it and go to the student. Okay, now it will create one more column inside the address table, which name will be the student id. There we will store this roll number. Okay, as a foreign key. Here one to many, we have to do the mapped by mapped by mapped by student. Okay, what student? Here we give object name as a student. Copy this and paste here. Okay, so mapped by that. So with the help of this, it will create the column inside the address, not in a student. Okay, so cascade, cascade, cascade type. Okay, I want cascade type, cascade type, cascade spelling cas, c should be capital, cascade. Yeah, cascade. Yeah, it will be cascade. Okay, cascade. Okay, done. This it will be done. Cascade type, cascade type dot all. We will take all. It is used to whenever we save the data, it will fetch, save the both data, address and student. So that's why we take the cascade type all. Okay, now save it and do the json ignore, at the rate json ignore. Okay, yeah. So you can see that mapping has been done. One student may have many address, and many address can have one student. Okay, done. So mapping has been done. So now we are going to create the REST API. What REST API? See, one REST API for to store the address, okay, inside the database, and second we will get the address, okay, using the student ID. See what we will do, we will enter the student ID. Suppose I have two address, I will enter my roll number, that means ID, and then I will get that my Mumbai address, my Delhi address, then I will get the both address. So how we are going to do this? So for that we have to create the service. See, we have already created one service, student service. So if I will create it again inside the service, student service, so it will be conflict, not conflict, it will be bunch of code in one page. So I don't want to do it. I will create the separate service for the address. Okay, now let's start. Click on right on service, in that package I will create. So see, suppose see, here is a separate package for service, separate package for implementation, separate package for repository class. So whichever, whenever you create the another service, so please create that service inside the service package, so it will be easy to understand for you also, and it will be good practice. Okay, so now we are going to create the address service. Address service. Okay, done. Okay, I forgot it should be a interface. Just change here, no problem. Interface. Okay, now it's changed. Okay, I want two REST API. For that, I have to create two service. First for add address, and second for get address by ID. So now let's start. Public address, public address, add address, public add address. Okay, and at the rate I add address. Okay, so while adding address, see, while adding the address, suppose firstly I will add the details of student. Okay, after adding the details of students, then I will add the details of address of the student now. So that means details of student is already exist. So using that his roll number or ID, I will add the address. So okay, so for that I have to give int id. Int I am taking this is my roll number, and this is the type of uh, integer. Okay, no problem. So and we will add the details of address using JSON format. Address. Okay, semicolon. That. Now second I want public list of address. See, if I have two address, three address, 10 address, I will enter my ID. Okay, then I will get the list of my address. So that's why I want a list of address. List of address. If I enter and I have only one address, okay, suppose every student has only one address, so no need to take list, so simply address I can take. But I have a list, so I'm taking the list. Okay, list get address by ID. This is just a method name, you can give anything according to your requirement. And int ID. Done. Save it. Firstly import the list. This one. Done. Yeah, save it. Now service has been done. Now I want to implement this service inside the implementation code. We have already one implementation, but I want to add separate, I want to create the separate implementation for the address. So right click here, and here, and add class. In add class we will add the service address service implementation. Okay, no need to write full. Okay, fine. Yeah, good. Now we have created the one implementation class. Here we will implement the both service which we wrote inside the address service. For that, implement address service. Okay, good. And here I have to write @service. Okay, done. Then I have to import this service also. Import. Okay, now it's showing here error. Now go to go with cursor, then click add unemployment service. Yeah, done. You can see the both service here. Now we can implement this both service, and after that we will write the uh, uh, controller also. Okay, good, good. Okay, fine. Now let's implement. Firstly I will add the details of address using the student ID. Okay, so how I'm going to add, let's see. Firstly I will check I will check that suppose my ID is 1. Okay, and if my details are stored inside the database, then I can add the address. Okay, so for that I will check my IDs exist or not in database. So for that I have to connect with the report student class student table. So I have to create the student repository also, student and repository, this one. Okay, as repo object auto auto okay. I have to do auto then as repo. Okay, why it's showing error? Syntax as repo delete this token. Okay, control s as repo, it's showing error. Why? Okay, let's check AutoAdd is correct or not. Remove this AutoAdd. The student repository is correct or not. Okay, no problem. We will take the spelling of student repository here. This one is the student repository. Okay, control copy and paste here. Okay, paste here, control B and s repo. Okay, and add the auto add this one. Okay, fine. Yeah, spelling was wrong. Okay, okay, fine. Student, now we with the help of this object we can connect with the student table. Okay, and I want the if I created the address of entity class, so I have to create the another repository class for the address, so it will create the table inside the database now. So I have to create the repository for address also. So firstly create the repository for the uh, address. Okay, where is the repository package? Here, this one. I have to create repository interface. Okay, address repository, address repository. Okay, good, enter. Okay, now we will extend here, extend extends, extends spelling extends, extends, then jpa jpa jp repository, this one. Okay, class name is address and integer type, that id is an integer type, integer. Okay, let import this, control space, not this one, this one. Yeah, and here I have to write at the rate repository. So this interface class will be defined as a repository class. Okay, done, save it. Then go to the implementation, where the service implementation, this one, this one. Yeah, here I have to import the first address repository also, address repository, this one. Copy the class name address repository, control C and paste here, a repo. Okay, AutoAdd, at the rate AutoAdd, this one, and control space, this one. Okay, both object we had created. Now we will use this both object. Okay, so with the help of student id I will check that student id is exists, so I will add the details of address. Okay, simply how we are going to do this, let's see. Firstly I have to check the student. Okay, std student std as repo. Student spelling is correct, no, yeah, it's correct, but I didn't import. I have to import this one. Okay, as repo dot get by I already implement that method in repository class using this id. Using this id I will check the student is exist or not. This method I already wrote inside the repository class. You can see here. And with the help of this query I will get the details of student. Okay, fine. So if suppose student is present inside the database, so what we will do, we will if std okay not equal to null, that means student detail is exist there. So what I will do, I will add the detail, add the address, add uh, set student. See, in address I will get the details about the address while the giving in when we will create the API at runtime. Okay, but we want to save the details of student also. See, students. Okay. Oh, then and return a repo. Okay, then a repo dot save. What I will save, add. Okay, if stds exist, then uh, store inside the address. Okay, and create it and save it. Else what we will do, we will throw one exception. Else we will throw the exception. What exception we are going to throw? Throw new what student not found exception. Okay, because student is not exist, that's why student student not found exception we already wrote, I think. That's why student not found exception, yeah, this one. You can see that this is the customization exception we already wrote in previous video. Here where exceptions, this one here, yeah, student not found exception we had created there. Now import add this add throw declaration and save it. Click here and it will add exception to service. Okay, then this implementation has been done. Now what we will do, we will get the list of address using the student id. Suppose I have 10 address, so I will get the 10 address. Okay, so 10 address means list of address, so I will get the list of address. I want the list of address. Okay, I want add a list of address, add null. Okay, we assign that value. And if okay, a repo exist by id, exist by id, this id is exist. Okay, so what it will do, it will return, what it will return, let's see. It will firstly it will add the uh, mm, what it will do, it will take that, if exist, so it will take that address from the database. So we created the address add object. So a repo will get address list, address list. I want this method, it doesn't exist, so I have to create. Okay, id. See, here you can see get details by id. So we already wrote one method and we wrote a query, then it's retrieving data from database. So for that I have to write this method also in database, so it will retrieve the list of address from the database name of table database, from there is a table which name is address. From there it will retrieve that data. So I have to create that uh, I have to write the query in address repository. Okay, so let's write. I want that id. So what I'm going to do, I have to write a public, I want list of address. Okay, I want list of address and control V, that method, no, what method I wrote there, what is the name of that method, here I wrote na, this one, control C, this method I want here. Okay, control V, @param, @param, control space, enter, value, value, okay, value is equal to id, okay, and this is the integer type, okay, semicolon. Now let's write query. I am going to write a native query. Native query means which query belongs to the SQL, MySQL, okay, h query, okay. In previous video I wrote a HQL query, now I am going to write a MySQL query. Value select s dot star from address, what is the name of table, address, s where, see, suppose if your query is wrong, so it will show you the error. So while writing the query, just check in MySQL first, okay, where where s dot student, where student, student id, student id, and see, this will be this id, native query, native, okay, native query I want, native query, native query equal to true, okay, and I have to import the list I have to import this one, and query I have to import this one, okay, done. Now save it. If anything will be wrong, so it will throw the error also. So okay, now check the service implementation. Okay, now I have to check the service implementation, everything is fine or not. Okay. mm, Now I will get the list of address using this method, and I will store inside the add, then I will return add, okay. Else I will throw the exception, throw new address not found exception, address not found exception, okay. For that I have to create this exception, put arrow here, okay, and it will show you create a exception. So we will create exception in exception package, so it will be good, don't create anywhere, okay, otherwise it will be create problem for you. Then click finish, see, address not found exception in exception package, then click right here, then click on source, then click here constructor superclass, then click generate, then it will generate this code in exception class, okay, fine, save it, go there, click Control S, then put arrow here, cursor here, and then click add through a declaration, then put arrow here again and add the exception. Good, save it. You can now we save the both, okay. Firstly let's check, see, we did Control S, okay, both implementation has been done. Firstly we in starting we create the student and address, okay, student and address, and we did the mapping. So we firstly let's check that table is created in database or not, okay. In student it will create this much fields, this much column, okay. It will not create one column for this because I used mapped by student. It will create one column inside the address. Here we will store a foreign key, foreign key will be the roll number, okay, roll number id we are going to store. So let's check it's running or not, then we will create the controller class, okay. So it will be fine. so we can check in database table is creating or not. Okay, so firstly check it. Okay, and don't think about the time. Suppose if video will be more than half hour, around the half hour or 1 hour also, then don't take tension. To learn something you have to spend some time. Okay, so don't think about time also when you are learning something. So half hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, up down, it's fine. Okay, and let's check in database. Okay, here refresh it, code with money database 2. Okay, table student address and student board table has been created. Let's check the table. This is the address. Yeah, you can see the student id here. You will store here the student id, okay, as a foreign key. And student table, okay, here you can see that details of students. We will store the details of students, and we will store the details of address, and here we will store the id of students. Okay, so it will be as a foreign key. Okay, so okay, fine. Now let's see the code. Okay, everything is fine till now. So what we are going to do now, we will write the controller. Okay, stop the project and write a controller. So we can check inside the uh, chrome. Okay, controller, I'm going to write a controller class. See, we have a student controller, but I'm going to create a new controller for the address. So click new and click address. Okay, I'm going to create another address controller, address address controller. Okay, yes, enter. Okay, now address controller has been created. I will create the I have to write here at the rate rest controller component, uh, rest 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 controller. Yeah, rest controller. Then I have to implement the address service implementation. Okay, here I have to add that service implementation. Okay, where is it? Here, this one, copy, and I have to implement here. Control B and give names object sir, and import this. So it will be good. Import this one. Yeah, this class I want to import. And instead of writing auto-wired, you can create a constructor for this. Okay, create constructor and generate. It will be good practice. Okay, now at the rate oh, I have to go I have to create two API for the both two service. So public response. If I will write each and everything, it will take time. Just copy and paste and change the little bit things which things we have required to change. Okay, copy anything, copy any control I can copy, and I will paste here. Okay, whatever I want to change, add address I want to add. Okay, post mapping address details I will add. Request here, instead of student I will write address. Okay, here I will write add. Okay, so using id I'm adding the details of student address now. So I have to give a int also, because we give two parameters for that. So for that I have to use path variable for the integer type, path control space path variable int id, and one for the address control space import this. Okay, now I have to delete this. Okay, in the last video we already explained how to create the controller REST API, so I'm not wasting time. Object of address service implementation dot, then I want to add this address, add address. Okay, first one for the int, second one for the address. Okay, good, fine. Click here and add through declaration. Okay, we a student not found exception. Okay, here see, here I am taking for request body no need to pass any anything in curly bracket, but I'm taking input as id as an integer, so I have to, so for that I have to write here curly bracket id. Okay, this id and this id should be same. Okay, fine. Post address has been done. Now I want to get the list of address using the student id. So for that I have to create the get mapping. Get mapping, control space get mapping. Okay, not add. I want get, I want get list of address, list address. Okay, details address, no problem. I have to pass the id also. Okay, because I am getting the list of id using the id, so I have to write here path variable. Path variable, yeah, it will be a integer type. Okay, okay, and what do I have to change here? This one I have to change, because for the service implementation, this service implementation ser dot get address by id, this one. Okay, and add this declaration. Okay, address not found exception. Now both controller has been done. Okay, class done, implementation done, service done, repository done, controller done. Now let's check. White swing error, click, put arrow here. Get mapping address, yeah, this one I don't want. Student already except this one, because it's come student already, I don't want this. Okay, fine. Okay, done. Now run it. Now we'll see one to many to one mapping, it's working or not. Till now it's running. I want to show you something different things. See, address and student has been mapping, but we can see using the table also, class diagram also, how we can see. Click on database, click on reverse engineer. Okay, then click next. Next, you can put the username id and code with money to this one I want, and click next, and next, and execute. So you can see the table with uh, mapping clearly you did or not, mapping is correct or not. So you can see, yeah, yeah, you can see this is student table, this is the address table, this symbol for many, this symbol for one. That means one student has many address, address has one student. Mapping is correct. Okay, delete it, delete it, save. Save now, I don't have that much time. Okay, okay, go to the Chrome and firstly check it's running successfully or not. It's running successfully, very good. Now check in Swagger that all API it's running or not. Firstly I have to add the details of a student. Suppose I will add the two details of student, then I will add the three address, so I can check it's okay. Here localhost 8095 swagger you get index.html. Okay, this is port number. Okay, okay, fine, good. See, address controller, these two APIs showing here. Okay, firstly I will add the details of students, then only I can. Okay, roll number is 1, and name, money, school name, anything, give, don't waste time, give. Okay, okay, done, execute. Yeah, it's storing the data of students. Roll number 2, if I will store roll number 1, it will show you the error, because this is a primary key, it will not store same student details again and again. Okay, this one done. So we can check in database. Okay, it's storing the details of student or not. Refresh it. Yeah, you can see the details of two student. Done. Good. Now I have to add the details of address. I am going to store. Click here. See, here I have to enter the ID of student. See, I have two. Oh, here I have here two ID, 1 and 2. So what I will do here, I will write here 1. Okay, address is, suppose one address I'm going to store. I belongs to Delhi. Here I will write state DL. Okay, execute. Yeah, it's storing. Suppose this is my roll number. Okay, I have one address in Delhi and second address I want to in Mumbai. Mumbai comes under Maharashtra. MH. Okay, execute. Done. Okay, so I have my roll number, student roll number is 1. I have two address, so I want to check list of address. Okay, list of address. Okay, here you can enter a student ID. Yeah, you can see my both address. Okay, so many to one mapping we did, and we create the uh, API for those mapping. Okay, to check that mapping has been correctly did or not, or how we can use that mapping. So I think it's clearly, if you didn't understand, so you can comment it what you didn't understand, and otherwise you can see this video it again. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe this YouTube channel. Thank you guys.